Ho, ho, ho! It's a very Merry Christmas to everybody. Bob Holmes, Arvin Sidhu, and Des Corkill joining me to preview Match Week 15. Oh, yeah, football has no holiday. Early kickoff on Saturday is Leicester City against Manchester United. This is a top 5 encounter, Bob Holmes, based on the two form teams, I guess you should say.
Yeah, well, United certainly. This is their best run ever in away from home, but I think this will be a bit of a test for them because Leicester, as you say, are also in form, and they've got Jamie Vardy, and I can see him causing a few problems to that United defence. I know it sounds like a broken record worrying about the United defence, but it's not been improved. And he's a tremendous threat. He's right up there in the goal-scoring charts. He's managed to stay fit for most of the season. He looks as hungry and as good as ever. And I think that United might have their work cut out in stopping him. You've got Maddison, who's
coming into good form as well.
Yeah, they've missed him. Leicester have missed him, but he's, as you say, he's coming back into form now. He's had got a few games under his belt, and Leicester are looking quite a decent side, better than I thought they would actually. I'm always a bit reluctant to give Brendan Rodgers credit, perhaps, but fair play to him. He's got together a pretty decent side, and I think we're fortunate to have this one as an early kickoff because this could be a real treat. Most of the good games are on at ridiculous times for us here, aren't they?
Yeah.
But this one is potentially a very, very interesting game. Hard to call, but I got a feeling this away record might go on Boxing Day tomorrow.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Des Corkill, celebrated 2 years since his appointment now at Old Trafford. And if you follow United's football, for me, they've actually starting to establish actual patterns of play. You look at the players, they seem to be enjoying the football. So what do you think after 2 years? Progress?
Stability. They're getting to where they should be. You Man United fans, you believe you've got the right to be at the top of the tree every year, all the time. You've got ridiculous amounts of money that you can spend. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in and reintroduced some, I think, United traditions of trying to play attacking football, even if it is on the breakaway. They're not the flamboyant Alex Ferguson do or die team. But rock solid. As a Liverpool fan, I hope he stays for a long time, because I don't think he's genuine up top class. But with the players at his disposal, he's got them back in the firing line. So I think as an interim, a long-term interim, I think he'll do a fine job for Manchester United, because he's got the stability back that even Jose Mourinho wasn't able to get, despite the trophies. He's got you playing kind of the way you want to. But I can see this one, the two teams cancelling each other out, because both like to hit on the break. So I can see this one being a rather dour 0-0.
Ooh. He's had too much Christmas pudding. They are more exciting, but great football managers have got to start somewhere, Arvin Sidhu. They got to start with a win somewhere. Now, you can say last season, 3 semi-finals they fell at. So this year, they've got to 1 already. Do you see progression? Do you think 1 win in anything might actually kickstart Ole?
It might, because we've seen other scenario of club legends being brought in. Zidane has worked well with Madrid. Guardiola worked well with Barcelona.
And before that, nothing, right?
Exactly. Pirlo is struggling at Juventus to find identity. I agree with Des that he's brought the culture and the values back to United that seem to have been lost during the Van Gaal and the Jose days, and progression is needed. But after 2 years, 3 years, if he doesn't deliver a trophy, I still feel that at a results-based business that football is in, he won't last, because he's not that top echelon of managers that's available out there, like the Allegris and the Pochettinos. He's sort of below that. But what's helping him this season is the likes of Bruno Fernandes that was not there last season for the whole season, the likes of Cavani that's come in, the likes of Alex Telles who's showing better at left back. So he needs to deliver a trophy. That's why I said that League Cup is so important for United or for Spurs, because they are longing for that trophy. Progress, yes, but it will only be determined by winning something, and hopefully he does in the next couple of years.
Or-
You hope that, Alvin? You hope that?
As a football
Christmas-
follower.
Yes, football for Christmas spirit. I won't be bad against United today. So Christmas.
No way. Nobody wants United to win anything.
He's not only just overdone the pudding, a bit on the tipple as well.
Up to 6-2.
It's the early kickoff then. Leicester City versus Manchester United, Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Arsenal versus Chelsea is a big one. It's 15th versus 5th. It's a Sunday, 1:30 a.m. kickoff, this one. Just 4 league wins for Arsenal this season, Bob Holmes. It seems so weird saying that.
Yes, it does. But I don't agree with Sam Allardyce for saying that Arsenal are in the relegation zone. I think that's him. He wouldn't have said that until he took the West Brom job. I think he's just, firing one across the bows there. I think they'll get out of it. And I do think they've been a bit unlucky. I said that before. Casting my mind back, I can see countless goalmouth scrambles and flailing Arsenal boots, and the ball just refusing to go in, hitting the woodwork several times, keepers playing out of their skin. And in that regard, I think Arteta had a point. I think they have been unlucky. But I don't think the manager should have said that. I think that's the difference. And I think it's worth mentioning that the guys that have signed the big contracts have not delivered.
Yeah.
And Aubameyang, I mean, they moved everything to get him to stay. They made him captain, and since he signed, he's hardly had a kick. Never mind score a goal. I think he scored 1 penalty. And I think you need more leadership from him, certainly. And Willian, a major disappointment. I thought it was quite a coup for Arsenal to get him. He was great at Chelsea, always gave 150%. And since he's gone to Arsenal, I don't think he's given 75%. So I think there has to be some connection there between the signing of lucrative long contracts and whether you want to break sweat or not. And that goes back to the manager, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
He has to handle that. I mean, he's got some big names there, big egos. They played for big clubs, and he's a rookie manager. They know that. And I think they're probably testing him. And it could well be that there are factions rather than the dressing room being totally lost. But it's certainly not a place of harmony. And it's a very difficult period for Arteta here. And I hope he comes through it, because I think he's a pretty good guy. He played football in the right way when he was a player at Arsenal and Everton. And I think he's got his values are right. So I hope he weathers the storm.
Opponents Chelsea, well, they've dropped down to 5th now, Bob Holmes. Spotlight suddenly gone on their big signings. A lot of talk about Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. Werner hasn't found the back of the net for 9 matches now. I mean, is this harsh? I mean, he's also a rookie manager, isn't he, Lampard?
So, exactly what Bob said. He managed Derby. He's not a rookie manager. He's been given a lot of money to play with.
Exactly.
They'll be fine. Timo Werner, I wouldn't worry about him too much. You say he hasn't scored in 9, but he's getting into those positions. You worry about strikers when they don't get into those positions. Giroud has come in, and Tammy Abrahams have filled him. I think Chelsea will be genuinely competitive. Lampard tries to play them down, and he said those 2 defeats say that they aren't as good as the real top boys, but don't be fooled by that. Good players. So as with Man United, good players just assembled in a good way should be able to be competitive. the real manager is able just to tweak that little bit extra. Well, I think we'll find out this season whether Frank Lampard has got that little bit extra. He's been given a lot of responsibility, a lot of money to play with. So long as they're there or thereabouts come April, I think they'll be happy at Chelsea. Then it's really down to whether or not they're able to convert that into a genuine championship charge.
Arvin, if Chelsea win this, the pressure on Arteta would be ramped up, wouldn't it?
Would be. There's of course, we talked about the games after the Chelsea game, which are in a way defining because they've got games which they should be winning. So their record against Chelsea hasn't been great for the last couple of years. Chelsea just seem to have that knack of knowing how to bully Arsenal off the ball, and they still seem to have some players that can be able to do that. But yeah, I feel that even if they lose this game, Arteta, it won't come down that hard on him because I don't think he's expected to get anything out of this on the run that they are. They will be defined on the games after that, and they would expect January to be much higher than where they are right now, which is in 15th. So yeah, I think he gets a slight free pass on this one, but it will also depend on the performance. They have to perform and show that they can battle for it. It's really up to it, because with Arsenal, I feel every game this season is a different episode. Either someone gets sent off, or a manager pushes someone on the pitch, or someone is injured. It just always seems to be some drama with Arsenal, just like AFTV. It seems like the club and the AFTV is connected in a way. So it's let's see for another interesting derby this weekend, I bet.
Can I just interject there, Ross? Because I think that the pressure isn't from within the club. I think the pressure is this Arsenal television, and it's very much an external pressure. Everybody's whinging about it, and one of the most important things for the club is if they've got a focus and a belief in what they are doing, then they should really stick with it and ignore these external pressures, because Arsenal TV, they're there for clicks. They're not there for Arsenal Football Club. They're there for the clicks. So if they think Arteta's the right man, go with him. Like Solskjaer at Man United, if you think he's the right man, go with him.
Well said. Arsenal 15th against Chelsea 5th is a Sunday 1:30 a.m. kickoff. Right, continuing our look then at the Boxing Day fixtures. Bottom club Sheffield United take on Everton in 4th. Sheffield United, they're comparing this Sheffield United side, Bob Holmes, to the Derby side. I know you'll take a lot of pride talking about this. The Derby side of the Premier League that's been deemed the worst side ever to grace the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit concerned that Sheffield United might be about to take Derby's record off them. I sincerely hope that they don't. I think that record should stay for all time. And I do think the Sheffield United are a better team than Derby were then, all joking aside. I mean, they almost got into Europe last season. Well, they flirted with the idea, didn't they, until they faded a bit towards the end. But they were that good. They were up there. And they haven't changed the team fundamentally. I think one or two of their innovations have been found out, and they've had injuries at the wrong time, in the wrong place, missing one or two key people, and they haven't had any luck either. But I expect them to rally, but I think they've probably left it a bit too late. I mean, no team has ever survived being in this situation at Christmas. Remember Leicester famously a few years ago were bottom at Christmas and survived quite comfortably under Nigel Pearson and then won the title the following season. I don't see Sheffield United doing that. But so when you're down, if you're bottom at Christmas, there's an old saying in football, if you're bottom at Christmas, you tend to go down. And 9 times out of 10, you do. And I think they will. But I think they'll put up some sort of a fight. They're not playing that badly. They just can't buy a goal, can they? That's their problem. And last season, they were getting goals from all over the field. Defenders were popping up, heading set pieces in and that sort of thing. It just hasn't gone for them this season. So for Everton, I think finding that they're away at Sheffield United right after a fairly disappointing defeat to United in midweek, I think this is just the game that Everton need to get back on track. But likewise, Sheffield United will probably be seeing in Everton a chance to actually get a rare point or two.
Des, do you reckon the Sheffield United will kick on? Are they just one win away from actually kick-starting their season? Or I know you're all one for they have to entertain, and let's face it, the Blades don't.
They haven't changed from last year where everyone was waxing lyrical about them, but I go back to last year, they scored a goal a game. And what they did really well was they kept a lot of clean sheets. This year they've scored only a goal every other game. It's 8 in 14. And they've conceded 25 in 14. So they're not keeping clean sheets. They're not scoring goals. They haven't changed the way they played. They just had an exceptional run last year. They're not a good side. There aren't players in that side who you think would get into any other team in the top half. If you're leading with Ollie McBurney as one of your main strikers, you're not going to score goals. If you're not getting bodies into the penalty area because you're worried about conceding, you're not going to score goals. I fear this is another derby because their confidence is low. They're conceding sloppy goals now. They'll still fight. They'll still show pride. But no, this could be Derby's record gone. The first single point tally in the whole of the season, I think, is looming.
Arvin Sidhu, could this be the weekend to triple captain Calvert-Lewin, maybe?
Could be. But the thing is, I was looking at Sheffield United's games and their results. They don't get battered. They don't lose by many. They lose by the odd goal. They lose by one. They might lose by a 2-1. So they don't get battered. But I feel like what Bob has said, the loss of Dean Henderson was big. Ramsdale has come in and done a relatively okay job. But a player which no one spoke about last season, Jack O'Connell, losing him at the back, someone who does his work efficiently, rarely puts a foot wrong in the game. That's what's really, really troubling them. And it was interesting. I was reading an article about Sheffield United's training. It seems Chris Wilder, his mode of training them is a 5 km run around the pitch and a little bit of coaching, a little bit of organizational shape. There's no coaching or development of players. So the players that you've seen last season haven't gotten better from last season. They've got contract rebels like Lundstrom, who doesn't want to sign a contract. Ryan Brewster's been brought in for a lot of money, but you can't expect a youngster like that to save you from goals. So I'm with Des on this. I feel that the Derby record could go. Derby had more points at this point of the season than Sheffield United does.
Oh dear.
So yeah, I feel that's one for taking right there. And I feel Sheffield United, but they won't sack him. They revere him over there at Bramall Lane. Chris Wilder will be expected to bring them right back up. So he'll be there towards the end of the season. I'd be shocking if he let go of his job.
All right, Sheffield United versus Everton. Sunday, 4 a.m. kickoff. Bottom versus fourth. Everton and Ancelotti will want to try and solidify that top 4 position. Should be interesting. Leeds United in 14th take on Burnley in 16th. This one's Sunday at 8 p.m. Burnley had quite a surprising 2-1 win against Wolves, Bob Holmes. Nobody saw that one coming, but maybe the Sean Dyche work method is starting now. And Burnley, maybe they're realizing, hey, we are Premier League.
Yeah, well, they're picking up a bit, aren't they? And Leeds, they've shown their defensive weaknesses. Burnley will be thinking they can actually get something here. But on the other hand, I think Leeds are quite capable of giving Burnley a tonking. I mean, Leeds either give tonkings out or get tonked themselves, don't they? That seems to be the pattern of the season. Very unpredictable. Just depends. I mean, one or two sides have found them out, but then again, Liverpool had to work hard to beat Leeds. So, I mean, they can mix and match with the best team. But I would say after that experience, that rather chastening experience against Man United, Leeds will bounce back. I'm not going to say they're going to go defensive and shore up the back, because I don't think Bielsa knows how to do that, and he wouldn't if he did. So I think it'll be the same old Leeds, but I think against a side like Burnley, I think that Leeds can win this quite comfortably.
Social media was really weird. After Leeds got beaten 6-2 by Manchester United, Des Corkill, a lot of people were talking up Bielsa ball. And I think some United fans got a bit annoyed, saying, how can you keep speaking nice things about this guy? He keeps getting tonked and all that. Is it sustainable? Is it right for the Premier League? Is it here to stay?
Hope so. Really hope so. If you're going to lose, go down in absolute flames of glory like that. Attack when you're 4-0 down. Attack when you're 6-1 down with 2 minutes to go. Give me that. It's a duty of care to the public. I will pay my subscription rate, double it actually, if I can get somebody with the attitude of Leeds. It's attack or defense. So this should be a fun one. My only concern for this game against Burnley is Leeds aren't very good defensively in the air. So when Burnley go boot up to big Chris Wood and he knocks it down and they pack 3 people into the 6-yard box, Leeds might concede 4 or 5 goals in this, but they'll go up to the other end and score 6 or 7 because they're wonderful fun. They have a joie de vivre and a spirit which is pure fantasy land, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. Just one other thing. The greatest goal I've ever seen took place in a Leeds versus Burnley game. Eddie Gray. Back in 1971, I think. Or
he had some shot on him, didn't he?
This wasn't a shot. This was a dinky dribble that is as good as anything you have ever seen from any player ever in your life. Look it up on YouTube. Eddie Gray, Leeds versus Burnley. It was a wonderful goal, and Leeds are playing in that kind of great fantasy. Not dirty Leeds anymore. Fabulous, festive, fantastic Leeds who keep losing.
now that's from an impartial fan. From a Leeds fan's point of view, is it good or bad for the heart, Arvin Sidhu?
It hasn't been good for the heart since Bielsa came, for good or for bad. But yeah, when I saw this fixture, the first person that came to my mind was Des, because you've got Beauty versus the Beast. You've got Leeds, which has got Burnley on the other side. But when you look at it from a points tally, where Leeds are right now, they are second only after Sheffield United's marvellous season last season for a promoted team. So they are happy from a points perspective where Leeds are at right now. But these are the games that they will be judged on. Burnley now this week, West Brom next week. Those are the games that Leeds need to win to consolidate. The games against the Uniteds, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, those are the fantasy games that Leeds are back in the Premier League. But if you're asking me, Bielsa won't change. He came out the other day and said he's not going to change. So Des is going to be able to double his subscription all the way to the end of the season because that's how he plays. But what's important for Leeds is they cannot go on the same mantle of conceding as many as those that they do. That he knows how to shut up shop. He just needs to revert that without compromising the attack that he has played. So Bielsa has got a few cards up his sleeve. Don't forget, he kept clean sheets too earlier in the season against Everton and Arsenal. He knows how to shut up shop as well. He just needs to do it more often than he has recently.
All right, it's 14th versus 16th. It's all set up for loads of goals, or maybe not. Sunday, 8 p.m. kickoff, that one. Liverpool versus West Brom is a Monday, midnight kickoff. Jurgen Klopp's men have had 8 days rest. That should do them nicely, Des Corkill. I also read that Thiago could be back, so it could all round be a formidable Liverpool that turns up.
Worries me, this one. Because the expectation is, Liverpool will turn up. They did Palace last week very easily. All they have to do is turn up. And when that kind of attitude infiltrates and everyone's saying they've had the rest and all the players are back, the expectation levels and the intensity level might drop. Jurgen Klopp is famous for not letting that happen. But I do worry about this because the Allardyce kick didn't happen against Aston Villa. It could well happen here. backs to the wall, bodies in front of the ball. If they can keep a clean sheet for the first half, Liverpool begin to maybe get a little bit edgy that it's not going to be another 7 goals, then that could be an awkward little one for Liverpool. On paper, absolutely not. On paper, it's a 3 or a 4 or a 5-0. But in the actual where we are in this of Liverpool maybe thinking, okay, we've got a breather. Oh, we can relax just a little bit. Oh, we can prepare properly without the intensity that they've shown. And this just worries me. And Allardyce, love him or hate him, he does have the ability to make teams very, very difficult to score goals against. Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried.
Nah, it's wasted worry, Bob Holmes, surely. But it is Big Sam, and if there is such a thing as new manager bounce, he's got a lot of waste for it to actually bounce off him. But this would be a massive ask. He's not silly. It'll just be looking for performances here from his charges, right?
Yeah. He can certainly bounce, all right. But I think the expectation on him will maybe a bit of a problem for him, because I'm sure a lot of West Brom fans thought the moment he signed the contract that, we're safe now. You know, there is that. I mean, he's got that reputation. I mean, all credit to him for building that reputation. I mean, never having been relegated. It's quite something when you've managed about 55 clubs, isn't it? I'm amazed that he hasn't managed West Brom before, because that's his local team, you know. He's from that neck of the woods, although he was a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan when he was a kid. But no, he'll feel at home there, and big expectations, I'm sure. And I'm not sure he can deliver with that team. I think that's essentially a championship team, just like Sheffield United are. And, you know, they're being found out. They have their moments. They've got a couple of good players. Diangana, who West Ham fans anyway, were rather sorry to see go, and Pereira, and the keeper, Sam Johnston. He's been keeping them in it lately. But they're out of their depth here. And the thing about Liverpool is they don't panic if they don't score in the first 35 minutes or so, or even the first half.
They just keep pummeling you.
They just, they don't panic if it's 85 minutes gone. I mean, they're human. There might be some anxiety. But no, I think Klopp has got them sorted. I mean, he can keep their feet on the ground and knows how to deal with the players. And some of those guys you mentioned, I don't think Thiago will be fit for this game. He's back in training. I think he's expected to play against Newcastle next week. Now, that's a thought, isn't it? Liverpool bolstered by Thiago taking on Newcastle. That should be something to savour.
Poor Steve Bruce.
So I don't really see any problem here for Liverpool in this one.
Yep. Forget Calvert-Lewin as captain in FPL, Arvin Sidhu. It should be Mo Salah or Mane.
Just one little fact. The last time Liverpool lost at home, who was the manager? Sam Allardyce with Crystal Palace. Just one little very interesting bit right there. But yeah, Sam Allardyce has come out and said he wishes he's had more time. He wishes this fixture was down the line. I'm like with Bob on this. Besides Diangana, Matheus Pereira is back. He's probably their most skillful player that they have. They will miss Jack Livermore. He got sent off needlessly against Villa the other day. But it's essentially a championship squad. But Sam Allardyce has the ability to make championship squad players play out of their skin. So he's given them a fighting chance. West Brom have a fighting chance, and you will see them tighten up a little bit more at the back. But yeah, interesting bit. The last one to beat Liverpool away was Big Sam with Crystal Palace. So probably giving Des a bit more nerves right now.
Because it was about 5 years ago.
Another interesting snippet here is that it was Slaven Bilic, who succeeded Big Sam at West Ham. And now it's the other way round. Now it's Big Sam succeeding Slaven Bilic. And you ask West Ham fans who they'd rather have as manager, and you're only going to get one answer, and it's not Big Sam. Good luck to West Brom.
Liverpool versus West Brom then Monday, midnight. That one kicks off. It's 1st versus 19th. Wolves versus Tottenham is 11th versus 6th. It's your Monday 3:15 a.m. kickoff, this one. Tottenham, we saw them in Carabao Cup action in midweek. Bale went off injured, but Mourinho has been rotating his side, Des. You'd expect him to get the league challenge back on track, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would. A month ago, I'd have thought this would have been a really, really tough match for them because Wolves at that stage, I think, were competing, but they a few things have happened to Wolves, not only results-wise, but 1 or 2 injuries. And Tottenham, this is perfect for them. Playing away from home, they can sit back, they can utilise the pace of a Son against the back three. Harry Kane can do his little bit of magic. So I would imagine they'll get back into winning ways here. Tottenham's record at Wolves isn't too bad either. It's there's some teams have difficult places to go to. Tottenham seem to do pretty well at Wolves, even when they were mediocre. I think they've won as many as they've lost. So yeah, I can see this being perfect for Mourinho. They'll be high after making it into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. They know there's a little bit of pressure on that they can't afford too many losses, otherwise Liverpool might get away up at the top. So yeah, it's an important game for them, but I can't see anything other than an away victory here. I'd love to know how Wolves are going to turn their season around, and maybe the other two boys have got 1 or 2 answers to that.
Yeah, that Raul Jimenez question still looming large, isn't it, Bob Holmes? I know we've seen them score recently. They've stepped up, Pablo Neto, but Fabio Silva scored a penalty, but he's not going to get that every week.
No, we mentioned Jimenez last week, and I did look up what the situation is with him, and they just don't know. No, nobody can put a date on when or if he's likely to come back. They remain hopeful. He could even play this season, but no one is putting any date whatsoever on it. They don't want to pressurize him, and they want to make sure he's 100% before he does come back. There's no way he's going to be rushed back.
Which means Wolves have to spend in January, don't they?
Yes. To be competitive, to have any serious hopes of doing anything this season, I think you could say that. Yeah, they're a bit short, aren't they, up front? And especially with the situation with Adama Traore and Nuno Espirito Santo's reluctance to start him or play him that much. And he's not happy, Traore. And you don't know whether it's the fact that it's because he's not being played, or whether that's upsetting Traore, or whether Traore is upsetting Nuno. Which way is it? I think it could be sorted out. If they can sort out Brexit, they can sort that out. I think they should just play him, and then worry about it, see what he can do. I mean, he's great. When he comes on, he's the biggest threat, isn't he? Now that Jimenez is out of the picture, he's just about their only threat. And I mean, there'd be no shortage of offers for him if they decided to sell him.
Yeah.
So I think that a bit of man management there can sort that out. Wolves are a strange one. I mean, they've got Jorge Mendes there, sort of allegedly choosing their players for them from Portugal, this production line there, and most of them have been very good. But they do seem a little bit reluctant to spend really big money. So I don't know quite what the situation is. They've got owners from China, and you don't think they're short of a few bob, but quite how ambitious they are, it's a bit difficult to tell. They're nearly there, and you feel that if they're really serious, just invest a little bit more. And now is the time when there's a glaring hole in their attack. This will be a test. I think if they do go out and buy somebody in January, it'll show that Wolves really mean business. If they don't, I think they're just going to be nearly men.
All right. Wolves versus Tottenham, Monday, 3:15 a.m. kickoff. Manchester City in 8th against Newcastle in 12th is a Sunday, 4 a.m. kickoff. Man City look to return to winning ways in the league after that 1-1 draw with West Brom. They did all right in the League Cup. Arvin Sidhu even got Gabriel Jesus scoring again.
They did, and keeping a couple of their players on the bench, which will come in this weekend. They've got a fully fit squad. I think the only injury that they've got is Eric Garcia. Edison will come back in goal. You would look at the likes of Kyle Walker, John Stones, Benjamin Mendy. It's quite interesting. Pep came out the other day and gave an endorsement for John Stones, who's had a lot of critics over the years, but it seems John Stones has got his personal life sorted out now, and it's showing on the pitch. So long may that continue for that young man. Gundogan and KDB will come back in the center. I don't think he'll play Aguero yet fully. He still is easing him back, so Jesus will continue up front. But yeah, this is routine City, isn't it? They've got the dire Newcastle to go up against. Steve Bruce will come out again and say he rejects all comparisons of being made of him as Donald Trump. It's all fake news because he never said that they weren't. He never said they were entertaining, and that's what probably Des doesn't like. But yeah, Steve Bruce signed up for the Newcastle job, but I never said I was entertaining. So yeah, routine City win for this one.
He's under pressure even before kickoff, Des Corkill, Steve Bruce. Do you feel for him?
I never feel particularly for any multimillionaires, but he's under pressure. Once again, this is very much fan-focused. You don't know what goes on inside the club because the feeling you get from inside the club is so long as we have mid-table mediocrity, we're happy because we keep on raking in the money. So as a business proposition, the owners are probably happy, and Steve Bruce, like a Sam Allardyce, is a very good vehicle to achieve that target, that KPI. From a spectator point of view, and me getting rid of my hard-earned cash, I'm hating it because they're not trying to win games of football, which is the key. And so if teams don't try to win games of football, I like it when they get spanked. And I think they're going to get spanked against Manchester City because City are back.
I don't know though, Bob. West Brom went there and got a point. Wouldn't Steve Bruce use that as the yardstick?
Well, he'll need a fantastic display from his keeper if he does, because it was Sam Johnston that kept City out in a frenzied finale, wasn't it? It's only a week ago. I can see it now. I mean, he played out of his skin. City could have actually won that by 5 or 6, with 4 of them coming in the last few minutes. So it was a little bit of a false result, that West Brom point. So, but no, you can't see anything other than a resounding City win here.
Sunday, 4 a.m. kickoff. Man City in 8th, where Newcastle in 12th. We all over here in Malaysia fear for Steve Bruce. Other ties, we quickly mention them now. Aston Villa in 9th against Crystal Palace in 13th. Arvin, the Villa, I mean, they're safe this season, which I guess must have been the first thing that Dean Smith wanted to achieve. But where do you reckon they'll finish, and how will they beat Palace here?
Oh, they've been excellent since the start of the season. I really think Villa have been really good. 7 wins, 1 draw, losing I think about 4. They are 4 points off Everton, and keep in mind they've got 2 games in hand. So for me, Villa are going great guns. They will definitely better last season of surviving on the final day by that mere point or 2. Ross Barkley is back this weekend. He's so important for them, and it's down to recruitment. They've done recruitment well. So I predict a top 10 finish for Villa because I think they've been going great guns since the start of the season.
All right, that one's 11 o'clock against Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. Fulham in 18th against Southampton in 7th, Des Corkill. We're seeing a bit of life from Scott Parker's Fulham. I think they're undefeated in 3, if I'm not mistaken, which is not bad, but it's not too late if they start getting something going, but they need to be winning these type of games.
Yeah, it's actually 3 draws in a row, which have been against decent teams. I mean, there was the draw against Liverpool, a 0-0 against Brighton, and it was Newcastle, I think, last time out as well. So they're improving. they're all actually quite nice to watch. They were very porous at the start of the season defensively. They changed things around significantly there. I like many, I was probably writing them off very early on in the season, but they've tightened up a little bit. They're attractive going forward, and they are in that battle with Brighton, sadly, Burnley, hooray, and maybe Arsenal, though I think Arsenal get out of it, but possibly Leeds in that battle. So any one of those four teams, I think, could well be in the relegation battle. Hope Leeds don't go down, but they could be sucked into it. But Fulham have got a chance to play their way out of it.
Yeah, 18th versus 7th. It's a Saturday 11 o'clock kickoff. Brighton, which Des mentioned there, they're 17th, Bob Holmes, Brighton. And the results haven't been going well. We've all been singing the plaudits, saying, yeah, they've been playing quite attractive football, but the results have been pretty bad. And recently they've reverted to old can't score Brighton.
Yeah, that's their problem. I mean, they play some quite nice stuff. Graham Potter has been earning praise for, changing them from the days of Chris Hughton when they were a bit dour. But they can't finish. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go and buy somebody in the transfer window, which is coming up. I think they may need that insurance to survive. Most clubs do. I mean, you're looking at, you mentioned Southampton. Well, they're a class above Brighton and these relegation teams, but without Danny Ings, for example, I think their results might start to dip. You've got somebody like that, it can keep a side several places ahead, above their natural position in the table. And they haven't got that, Brighton, and I can't ever remember when they did have it.
No.
What would they give for a striker? West Ham have done pretty well this season, and I think that they should take care of Brighton in this one.
Yeah, 10th place West Ham, Arvin Sidhu, and that's credit to David Moyes, right?
It is, and he's celebrating his first year in charge. I mean, but yeah, I feel, and I gave him a lot of flack at the early part of the season because he had some tough games coming up. They lost Mikel Antonio, but then Antonio is on his way back now. Sebastian Haller, and I listened to a lot of West Ham fans. They as wonderful as you see as a bicycle kick, he's not really the striker that they need. So David Moyes has done well. This is potentially David Moyes's second best tenure after Everton. Forget the United, forget the Real Sociedad. I even forget his Preston North End. He's doing good things at West Ham. So credit to him. He said that they won't buy anyone in January because I don't think they need anyone in January. Jared Bowen is really growing into a player that they need as well. So yeah, encouraging signs for David Moyes. Not often we say that, but credit where it's due.
Yeah, 10:15, that one kicks off, West Ham against Brighton. And there we have it. That's your match week 15, all wrapped up nicely. That's our Christmas present to you. I've got to thank the guys, Arvin Sidhu, Bob Holmes, and Des Corkill. A very Merry Christmas, and thanks, guys.
Ho, ho, ho.